Hey, welcome everybody to the Road to Retirement. My name is Chris Anselmo with Brookside Tax and Financial, and I'm with Mr. Tony Shore, our co-host. And we're missing Tony Marlette, even though I'm sitting in his office because I couldn't figure out how to do it from my computer. So, but I think it's all good.
Sure.
Today we were gonna. I thought, Tony, we might talk about Medicare because the Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. I believe it starts October 9th or 7th, October 7th through December 15th. So those of you who are 65 and older will be signing up for Medicare, and you'll see 17 million commercials between now and then about who you should go see and who you should pick. So, Tony, I'm sure you've heard this from other advisors too this time of the year.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's talking about, starting at least, to talk about Medicare because of open enrollment. But I think, Chris, what our listeners might not understand is that a lot of people think, and I used to think this, well, once I turn 65, I enroll in Medicare or start getting Medicare, and that's it. Why is there an open enrollment period each year?
Well, open enrollment allows those people who are either for the first time getting on Medicare. So if it's your first time, you're 65, you have 7 months to sign up. You have between 3 months from your birthday, ahead of your birthday, the month of your birthday, and then 3 months after. And then for those who are already on Medicare, then open enrollment allows you the ability to change plans if you want to change a plan.
Right, because there are choices to be made, many choices to be made in Medicare.
If I had to do it, it'd be different, but
right.
I mean, so Medicare basically, there's three parts to Medicare. There's Part A, which is for the hospitals. Part B, which is for the doctors. Actually, there's 4 parts. Part C would be an Advantage plan, the ones you hear all the old celebrities, Joe Namath and all those guys, and JJ Walker talking about. So, and there's Part D is a drug plan. So typical red, white, and blue all American Medicare covers 80% of everything, and then you either buy a supplement, we'll talk about those, or you will go on to one of the Advantage plans where it's kind of all inclusive.
Sure. So there's Advantage plans and supplemental plans that you can add to Medicare to get full coverage because, again, Medicare isn't going to cover everything.
Right. So Part A is for the hospitals. And if you've been working and been paying in for at least 40 quarters into Medicare, then you get Part A for free. Right. So everyone's going to have Part A unless you go to the Advantage plan. Now, Part B, in Part A, there's going to be a deductible. I think it's about $1,556 or something like that for this year. And then that's if you're in a hospital for more than 60 days. Okay. Then Medicare Part B covers the doctors. Now, not everybody signs up for Medicare Part B, but you probably should, right? You do want coverage for your doctor, right?
So, right. I think pretty much everyone does because you really need it, obviously, as you get older, especially.
So Medicare is going to cover, like I said, 80% of everything. And then you buy a supplement to cover the other 20%. So if it was me running the program, like I'd just charge everybody another $100 and cover everything, right? I mean, but the supplement market is either so huge. I mean, the insurance companies want the supplement market. We'll talk about the Advantage plans in a bit. But so you're going to need a supplement to cover the extra 20%. Now you don't have to get the supplement, right? But then you're going to be at risk for the 20%.
You're going to be on the hook for the 20%. Right. Plus, there are things Medicare just doesn't cover. That as you get older, in fact, 3 of the primary things you're going to need when you get older,
it's crazy.
Vision, dental, and hearing. Those are the first 3 things to go when you get older, and those are the 3 things Medicare does not cover. That frustrates me.
Well, look at it from, it's not, but consider it like an insurance company, right? They want premiums, but they don't want any claims, right? So to not cover hearing, vision, and dental, those are claims, right? So
Yeah.
so they would rather not cover that. So you have to get supplements to help cover some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, if you miss filing, if you miss the deadlines for filing, you don't sign up for Part B when you're supposed to. Now, you could sign up for Part B at 65 and not take it, okay? Because maybe you're still working, you got coverage through an employer or through a spouse. But if you don't sign up, when you do go on Part B, there's going to be a 10% penalty for every year you're not on. So you want to sign up and talk to a professional. Like, actually, Tony Marlette does, and Jeff does most of our Medicare and supplement work here. But I should have had time. I didn't know Tony wasn't coming in until 5 minutes before the broadcast. So I figured I'm taking it. I'm taking his thunder. So
You
um,
are. Yeah, he's your Medicare specialist.
yeah.
He and Jeff do that. So
Yeah. So
I
we
think it's great you have internal specialists that have trained and specialize in Medicare.
Yeah. So we actually formed a separate company for that. It's I think it's called Brookside Medicare Advisors. And so we work with Gradient and some other companies. Gradient has a Centium to help us work through the Medicare, because there's so many options out there. There's so many different plans. I think there's 10 different plans now they can pick from, and that's not even including Medicare Part C. Um, so you want to be on, you're going to be on A, you're going to be on B, and then you need to get a supplement. So the
Sure.
supplements, there's alphabet soup. It goes from, I think it's A to N or something like
Yeah.
that. And there's a few that
Yeah.
aren't there anymore. I think they got rid of their F or G, but you
Yeah,
want
it went all the way to G, I think.
yeah, and you want to
Yeah.
supplement because you don't want to be like 20% doesn't sound like a lot, but if it's 20% of a a surgery, and the surgery was 100 grand, 20% sounds like a lot of money now. So you want to
Yeah.
make sure that
Yeah.
you're covered. We traditionally like the regular, we call it the red, white, and blue plan, the typical A and B coverage, and get a supplement. Reason we prefer that is then you don't have any holes. So especially if you travel. Oftentimes, if you get uh, an Advantage plan, they might not have coverage in the area you
Mhm.
travel. So
I
if you
see.
travel to Florida, most likely there's in the winter there's going to be. But if you travel to, I'm just picking at something. But let's say you went to New Mexico and you were in a small little town, they might not have coverage for the plan you're on. But if you're with the federal program, it's good all over the country. So we call it the red, white, and blue plan. You get your little red, white, and blue. It's got little red, white, and blue stripes on it. Then you get your supplement. You get your A or B, and then you get your supplements. Now, supplements generally run, don't quote me on this, but somewhere between 150 to $200 a month. But then you're done. Right? You pay a little bit of deductible. I think the deductible last year was, I think, $233 or something like that. But then
Sure.
once you're through the deductible, you're done. Right? So you're
Yeah.
going to have everything covered. Now, the advantage of going to the Medicare Advantage plans that you see on TV all the time is generally there's no deductible, and but there are some gaps, and there may be some
There's
co-pays.
limitations and
Right.
gaps still. So yeah, I would like, I'm with you. Why can't we just get a plan that covers everything, and pay $100 or more a month? That's
Well, I mean, two reasons. One, it's the insurance companies rule the country, right? So
yes.
let me tell you what happens, Tony. When you get
They have the
Medicare,
big lobbyists, so
yeah, and they got all the biggest buildings in the country, right?
yeah.
So what happens on the Medicare Advantage plan is um, Medicare gives ABC Insurance Company Tony Shore's Medicare money for the year, and says, here's Tony Shore, here's his money, he's on you, right? So they're going to win on some, lose on some, but they want the whole Medicare money to come over. And obviously, if they get enough of them, the insurance, the actuarial things will work out, and they'll win some, they'll lose some, but it's big money. So you're taking off Medicare's books for that year, right? What people like about them, like my mom, she doesn't travel, right? I don't think she's, I tease her like I don't think she's been to the next city, right? So she
Right.
doesn't travel. She stays at
Right.
home most of the time. She's pretty healthy, and so she doesn't have any deductibles. She doesn't have any, so it's cheaper every month for her to be on the Medicare Advantage plan than for her to spend $200-300 a month, because normally um, you're going to get your supplements, and then you may also get Medicare Part D, which is the drug plans. So if you're taking quite a few drugs, sometimes the Medicare
Oh,
Advantage
yeah.
plans include drug prescription plans. So that's something. So basically, there's no right or wrong answer for anyone, but the important thing is come in and talk to Tony, come and talk to Jeff, and they'll walk you through it. And you pick, look, you pick whatever's best for you, right? That's what we
Yeah.
want, whatever's best for you.
Yeah, and they look at your personal situation, like, do you have a lot of medications or expensive medications? And that does play into which plan you go on. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to look at these things.
Right. So even if you're going to pick a drug plan, we actually use another company just to help us through the drug maze. They're pretty good at
Yes.
it. I think they charge the client a one-time fee of 150, $200, and they figure out which drug plan would be best for them. They
Yep.
say what's your typical, where do you want to go pick up your drugs? Is it Walmart? Is it which pharmacy to use most? And so all that goes into figuring that out. Um, so it's important to get it done, because if you do it wrong, you're going to be stuck in it for at least a year until you can come, through open
Open
enrollment again.
enrollment. Yeah.
Um, and if you never really want to change in the middle of the year, because one thing normally with open enrollment for most people is there's no underwriting. But when you switch plans, like if you go from Medicare Advantage plan, you're trying to switch to another plan, it's possible that will do some underwriting, or you're trying to switch between traditional Medicare and an Advantage plan. There could be some underwriting, so you may or not qualify. So you want to make sure you do it right and make sure you hit the deadlines, because there's certain deadlines, and when you can do all this stuff, and if you're outside the deadline, then you might be underwritten, right? So,
Right.
and most people 65 and older, I don't say most, but many
Sure.
have some issues, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the hip's bad, the knee's bad, whatever it is, and um, you don't want to have to be out of pocket for all that stuff. So
No.
come in and talk to Jeff or Tony. They can set you on the right plan. Again, we prefer, but it doesn't really matter what we prefer, right? I mean, it's whatever is best for you works. So
Right.
generally, we see most people take the red, white, and blue plan. They get their supplements. They know their deductibles for the year, and they're good. They know they're going to spend 150, $200 a month on the coverage. But there are people like, I don't want to spend, or I don't have $250 a month to spend on the coverage. Then maybe the Medicare C plans, the Advantage plans are better for you. So it really depends on quite a few factors. Do you travel? We have a lot of clients that travel in the winter. Maybe for a month or two, they go to Florida, go to Arizona, wherever they go. They go somewhere warmer, not Minnesota, right? We're not going to Minnesota in the winter. I can't hear you, Tony. I don't know what happened to you. So
That's not a good idea to go to Minnesota. I muted myself to clear my throat. You choked me up.
About going to Minnesota in the winter.
Yeah, you choked me up going to Minnesota. But now, Chris, when it comes to Medicare, I always focus on, because I didn't realize this, and I think this is a lot of people don't realize a lot about Medicare. They think they just enroll and then they're good. Once they hit 65, they'll be taken care of because of Medicare. We already talked about hearing, vision, and dental are not included in your traditional Medicare A, B, and D, parts A, B, C, and D. So, but there's supplemental. What about long-term care is also not covered by Medicare, and that's a lot of people don't understand that.
That's the lack of a better word. That's the next epidemic or pandemic hitting this country. I mean, as the baby boomers get older, there is, we have stats out there that say 2 out of 3 people over 70. Two out of 3 will spend some time in a facility, right? So, here in our area, the facility is running almost $10,000, $12,000 a month. Now, Medicare doesn't cover that, which I think is ridiculous. So if any congressmen or senators are watching, can
Yeah,
fix
yeah,
this,
really.
because I mean, here's the issue with Medicare on that. So Medicare gives you up to 100 days in a facility if you're getting better. Generally your Medicare coverage is like you sprain your ankle, you go get it taped up, whatever, you're gonna be better in 100 days. You break your arm, you're gonna be better in 100 days, right? But anything cognitive, dementia, all that kind of stuff, you're not going to get better in 100 days. So Medicare says, okay, we're out. And I'm like, how could that be? Because the person at 15 years old who gets his first paycheck gets 100 days. The person who's 80 that's been paying into the system for 65 years
Yeah,
gets 100 days. I mean, it's
that's
just not,
wrong.
it's just not right, right? But people think Medicare is going to cover all this, and it doesn't. So, like, look, stop spending money on Mars so they can see me, and help the retirees with nursing homes. Right?
Right.
Nobody's going to Mars. It's colder than Minnesota.
Yeah.
And it's
Then nobody's going there
it's
ever.
fun.
Yeah.
It's funny because I have a guy who works for NASA that was in here, and we had this conversation. I'm like, so you're gonna create an atmosphere and make it rain on Mars? He goes, yeah, possible. I'm like, you can't make it rain in California. Like we need we need rain in California. You figure that out first, then you can work on Mars.
Yeah, yeah, come on.
But there's got to be billions and billions. I mean, how much does one rocket ship cost?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And then I
Yeah.
asked him, how long does it take to get there? And it's somewhere between 4 and 6 months, depending on the time of the year, how far Mars is away. And I'm
Yeah.
like, 4 to 6 months. People don't want to fly 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
so, but so Medicare does not cover long-term care.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we've talked about some other shows, and you could probably watch those or come in and talk to us at our office. And I'm not sure how to. I guess I could put the number up there somehow, right?
Yeah.
There's got to
Yeah.
be.
Well, you got to give the number, at least say the number and the website for our listeners and viewers.
Tony's got them here somewhere on this. So, well, the number is 440-886-3550. I'm sure there's one here somewhere. It's got our number on it. But so if, again, 440-886-3550, or call us at our website's brooksidetax.com. There's just so many options, and if you do it wrong, you could be penalized. If you do it too late, you could be penalized. If you don't do it at all, you're going to be penalized. And so, you've been paying in the system for quite a long time, so we want to make sure you get everything that you're entitled to, and you don't want to be penalized for not signing up timely. Again, those who are turning 65, now if you're already on Social Security, they're signing you up for Medicare. Right? You may not take it yet, but you're going to be signed up. But if you haven't been on Social Security yet and you're turning 65, again, you have 7-month window. You have 3 months before the date you turn 65, the month you turn 65, and then 3 months after you turn 65. Yeah. So if you're turning 65, that's your window of opportunity. And then once you're already on it, then this is the time between October 7th and December 15th. Or maybe it's October 15th to December 7th, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's October 15th through
December 7th, because, I remember Pearl Harbor Day. So that's the period for open enroll. That's when you want to go talk to your professional who knows this inside and out. They can walk you through the different plans, which ones make sense for you, which supplements make sense for you. Maybe you're like my mom, and you take the Advantage plan because my mom doesn't want a monthly payment. And she's like, probably could afford it, but and your son would help you out. But she's like, I don't want to pay a monthly fee for it. So okay, then take the Advantage plan, and it's not the perfect thing for everybody, but if that's what you want and that fits your needs, that's fine. So there's no incentive for you to take one plan over the other. So whatever's best for you works. So really, if you between October 15th and December 7th, get in here, because you might want to even call now. We can do the analysis now.
Set up an appointment. Yeah.
So again, the number is 440-886-3550. I'm sure there's I'm sure Tony has something in here.
Yeah, he normally has it right up on the screen. We miss Tony today, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tony.
Marlette Jr. Didn't show up today. We got to give him a hard time for
He's
that.
shown up. He just said he's going to be a little later this in the morning. He had something going on this morning. So
Sure.
um,
No worries. But I just want to encourage our listeners to take advantage of this call, set up a meeting to see where you're at as far as your healthcare needs and Medicare. And with open enrollment coming up, if you're 65 or older, you definitely want to be working with a financial services professional and a Medicare specialist. And I know you have those there. So, Chris, seriously, give that number and website again.
Website is brooksidetax.com, and our phone number is 440-886-3550. And Dynamite, remember this?
JJ Walker.
I see Joe Namath. He does a pretty good job on that commercial too. So
yeah.
So, but you just look, the people who get penalized are people who are not informed. So just get informed. Call us, and we'll walk you through it. Maybe just stay on the plan you're at. But maybe that plan didn't work for you last year, and you want to look at something different. You're out of pocket a lot of costs last year, or your health changed. So, that's the biggest one. Usually, health changes.
Yeah,
and you want to be on a plan that suits you. Okay, Tony, we will. I think we have another one scheduled for next week, and then I'm going to be up in Minnesota the following week. So maybe
that's right. You're gonna come join me up here in the cold north. I can't wait to see you.
Maybe we'll do a one right from your studios.
Yeah, we should. Well, you're up here. We definitely need to get you into the studio up here, and we can do one in person, so we're not on separate screens here. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah,
look like a real TV show.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, Chris, thanks for a great show. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of The Road to Retirement with our host, Chris Anselmo.
Thanks. See you next week.
See ya.